Perfect. We are live here from the Septimius Awards in Tuschinski in Amsterdam. Kevin Spacey, how are you doing?
Very, very well. We just had a very interesting panel that we did in which we were talking about AI and what its future is and how we feel about it as artists and actors. Jonathan Majors did it, and his wife, Megan, and Stedman. So we had a very interesting conversation.
We all know you from many movies. You go in the industry for a long time. I love House of Cards. So what is going on for you now in life? You had a whole history. What is going on now?
Well, this has been the most extraordinary year. Over the last sort of 8 months, I've directed a new sci-fi film that I did with Dolph Lundgren and Eric Roberts and a whole international cast, which we shot in Durango, Mexico. I made a new film that we shot in Milwaukee that I had an incredible experience doing. It was one of the most beautiful films I've done in a very long time. We've been doing sort of the film festival circuit for the last couple of months. I start a series that I'm doing in Italy in a couple of weeks. I am shooting a film in Spain, and I'm shooting a film in Great Britain starting at the beginning of October. And then I begin a concert tour in November.
A lot.
There's a lot going on.
A lot has been happening.
Very grateful.
I can imagine, and it's amazing to have you back here in the film industry. And you have been shooting The Awakening. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, The Awakening was a film I shot a year or some months ago at Pinewood in England. I had a great time. The people who put it together were wonderful. So I think that that's going to be out at some point soon.
Do you know when?
No, I know nothing. When I'm not a producer, I don't get involved in any of that. So I just, cross your fingers and hope it gets out there.
It's beautiful. Can you tell us something? What roles would you like to take on still in your life?
That's a great question. I've never been somebody who coveted parts. I've never thought, I got to do that part in that play. I've always been driven generally by directors. So when Trevor Nunn, for example, said, I want to see you do Richard II. Richard II was never a part I thought of playing, but I ended up doing it with him because he wanted to see me do it. Matthew Warchus wanted me to do Speed the Plow with him. Howard Davies wanted me to do the plays that we did together, Iceman Cometh and Mood for Misbegotten. So I've never really been somebody who's like, I got to play that part. I'm so grateful when somebody wants to see me do something and wants to challenge me as a director. I find that has been very compelling and very satisfying.
Beautiful. Are there any messages that you like to spread while you're in the film industry? Is there a message that you really stand for?
Well, I just hope that whether it's the film industry or the banking industry or any industry, that we spend more time being kind and reminding ourselves that whatever our particular issues are or challenges are, there are people around the world who are faced with poverty, disease, death, earthquakes, war, and that those are the people that we should be lending our assistance to, our belief in, and raising money for. The problems of an actor are not of any interest to anybody, and nor should they be. We should be focused on a lot of other things that the world needs right now.
Yeah, beautiful. And is this also what impact do you want to leave on the audience as an actor?
It's never my job to tell people what they should feel. My job is to tell a story. My job is to work with a group of creative artists and artists behind the camera and try to share something that we hope. It's like when I'm in a theater and I see all these kids in the front row, because I always make the front row student seats. And I see kids who are 16, 17, 18, and I know it's the first time they've ever been to a play. My job, our job on that stage is to take the ideas that this writer has given us and fling them out into the audience. And you hope that they land and become seeds about how we should treat each other, about the world we live in, about the conflicts that we face. That's all I can hope for, is that we plant seeds and that those ideas and that challenge and that humanity will grow in each of those young person's lives.
That is beautiful. Do you see yourself do something else in the film industry, like directing or...
Well, I just directed, so I'm very fortunate to have that going. But there's so many genres I've never done, so many things I've never tried. That for me is the most exciting part. I have so much more to learn. I have so much more to learn from my colleagues. I have so much more of the opportunity that we all have when we get up and we try and we fail and we try and we fail and we try and we fail and we learn. And that's, I think, true for any artist. You know, you learn no matter how far you get thrown off that horse, get back on. Learn to ride better than you did last time.
And you develop.
Yeah, you learn.
And what role, if you look at your past, because you're one of the key players in the whole film movie industry, what role had the most impact on you? What changed you a lot? Like what made Kevin Spacey that is the Kevin Spacey that we see today?
You know, I think of individuals. I think of people like Sam Mendes. I think of people like Curtis Hanson. I think of people like David Fincher and Bryan Singer. People who took chances on me, believed in me. But I would have to say probably the character that has stayed with me, just lumbering around in his ideas, sharing his thoughts, was Clarence Darrow. Clarence Darrow was one of the greatest attorneys in American history. People know him from the play Inherit the Wind or the film Inherit the Wind and the Scopes Monkey trial. He was a remarkable man who, because of his summations, because of what he said, even about people he knew were guilty, in front of juries or in front of judges, he saved 102 men from dying by the noose or a firing squad. 102 men in the course of his career he saved, and that was pretty remarkable.
I can imagine, Kevin. Thank you so much for being here today. It's been an honor to have you here.
Thank you. It's been nice to be live.
Yes, I can imagine. Spend some more time in Amsterdam, please. Are you staying for a little bit?
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, enjoy the city. Thank you so much, and have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin Spacey.